Welcome back to another episode of Boys on the Bench here. I am one of your hosts, Nathan, and today we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to talk about something that I'm super into. We're going to get into some NASCAR betting and some drivers this weekend who I think have potential um, cars to win this weekend. So, for those of y'all who don't know what NASCAR is basically just a bunch of cars driving in a circle. Sometimes they hit road courses, but they drive really fast and they race each other, and it's really fun to watch. I have something that I've been into for a very long time, ever since I was a little kid, and I enjoy NASCAR very very much. And we go to a new track every single year and watch a race. And I do watch races every Sunday, and I also collect the diecast cars. So let's let's talk a little bit about the NASCAR betting industry and how it works. I usually just play on DraftKings. The way the scoring and all the stuff works is it's usually based on laps led, the start differential. So like where the driver starts based on where he's finished, you get some points between there. So typically, if you have a guy who starts in the back of the field and finishes up front, you can get a lot of points based on that because his differential of the spot that he started to the spot that he finishes is such a big gap. Laps led is another thing, and fastest laps, and there's some other stuff here and there. But for the most part, we're just going to get into the people who play DraftKings like I do. We're just going to get into a few picks and people that I like for this weekend here at Richmond on Easter Sunday. This is the first night race of the year. Looking forward to that. Well, night races are always very fun to watch. I enjoy them. Um, so Richmond is considered a short track. We're going to be running a short track package this weekend. Um, so far lately, if you've watched any of the races, you have noticed that Toyota has dominated all the short tracks this year so far. So, with that being said, one of the first guys that we're gonna look at here is Martin Truex Jr. Truex Jr. ran okay at the Coliseum at the Clash, ran very well at Bristol, finished second place behind his teammate Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. is coming into Richmond trying to get his win, racing for Joe Gibbs. He does drive a Toyota, and I really like Martin here. Martin has had success here, and Martin has won 3 out of the 4 past night races here at Richmond. So, like I said earlier, this is a night race. I really like Martin Truex Jr. Also, one of the things I want to state here is that Martin has had also 9 top 5s, 17 top 10s with the average finish of 15th. Now, some people might say, well, his average finish is 15th. That's not great. You're right. But he has won here multiple times. And another thing is that Martin has led 1,359 laps. That is very, very good. And so that shows that when he is dominant here, he can be very, very dominant, lead a lot of laps. So if they're saying, if we're following what people in NASCAR are saying, that Toyota is going to be very dominant on short tracks this year, if Martin Truex Jr. has won the past 3 out of the 4 night races here at Richmond, I like the odds with Truex Jr. So another guy that we're going to get into who also drives a Toyota is Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has been very, very, very dominant at this track as well. He has had 18 top 5s, and he has had 22 top 10s here. He has also led 2,226 laps at this track with an average finish of 8.5. That's pretty good, guys. This is a guy who can pretty much get in the race car and win every week. He could be the guy that you could just kind of count on to handle your business and kind of like a guy that, like if you were playing fantasy football, a guy that you want to have in your lineup starting because he can win every week. He can lead a lot of laps, and when he's dominant, and he runs well most of the time. He also is a Toyota driver. He drives for Joe Gibbs. He's a teammate, like I said earlier, with Martin Truex Jr. And like I said, they're saying Toyotas are dominant on short tracks this year. Both of those guys drive short tracks, or both of those guys drive Toyotas. I'm sorry, and look for them to be both very, very dominant here. They both have led a lot of laps, and they both won here. So looking forward to that. One of the guys we're going to go ahead and get into another guy who's very dominant in the NASCAR world, a guy that if you talk to anybody who is affiliated with NASCAR and you ask them who the best driver or the all-around best driver would be, and that would be Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson has won here. He won the earlier race here last year. Kyle Larson won at Richmond last year, but like I said, he's he's a safe pick if you have the room for him on your DraftKings team. He's just a safe pick because, like I said, he's just one of the most dominant race car drivers, the most all around gifted race car drivers, and he can literally make any car drive fast, and he's really really good at it. That's why he races for Hendrick Motorsports. He does drive a Chevy Camaro. He's number 5, and we're looking at guys who have won here. Guys you want to have in your lineup that can run well here and won here. Kyle Larson is one of those guys. Another guy that we're going to move on to is Joey Logano. Joey Logano has not had a great start to the year so far. He really, really needs a race to have he needs to have a great run. He needs something good to come out of this weekend because he's behind in points. They've had a very rough go at it so far with wrecked race cars at Daytona, again in Atlanta, and he started on the pole at Vegas. Ended up not running extremely well there. Kyle Larson won that race, so he needs to have a great weekend to turn things around for him and his team. But, he's had 13 top 5s here along with 18 top 10s, and he's led 651 laps with an average finish of 10th place here at Richmond. So if you're a race car driver, you look forward to the tracks that you're really, really good at, tracks that you typically run well at. Statistically, Joey Logano has ran very well here at Richmond, and why not pick this Richmond racetrack to turn your season back around, to get back on track, get back to racing the Joey Logano style of racing that you're racing and being dominant every week and running in the top 5 and top 10. So I look forward for him to do that here and potentially maybe even get a race win. So look forward for Joey Logano to have a good weekend. He needs it really bad to turn the season around and get things back on going. So another guy that we're going to look at, and that's Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has won at Richmond 6 times with an average finish of 7.1. He is also one of those drivers who can get in the car and dominate. He's very, very good. He drives race cars very well. He has 19 top 5s and 28 top 10s at this track. Kyle Busch is the most winningest driver in NASCAR. He's one of the guys, he's a very, very, very aggressive race car driver, but he can be clean while doing it. And that is very impressive that he can do that. So he has left the Toyota camp, and for the past couple of years, he's been driving the number 8 Chevy Camaro for RCR Racing. But Toyota or not, Kyle Busch is dominant at this racetrack. Kyle Busch is a dominant and aggressive race car driver. So look for him to be dominant here this weekend as well. They've also had a little bit of a rocky start to the season. So like I said, kind of like we mentioned with Joey Logano, you pick certain tracks where you can turn things around. And I feel like this could be it for the number 8 team at RCR. Coming in here, having an average finish of 7th, have won here 6 times. And, you've had 19 top 5s, 28 top 10s. And so why not pick a better track, a better weekend to start turning things around for your race team? And I feel like this could be it for Kyle Busch. Those have been the 5 drivers that we've kind of talked about and covered. We're going to get into a little bit of a dark horse driver, a guy that could be a sleeper driver. You might need someone to fill in your DraftKings lineup here. And that would be my sleeper pick, Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher also won here last year, and he could run well at this track and has proven that he's been able to run well at this track. He drives the number 17 car for RFK Racing, and ever since Brad Keselowski has joined and been the owner of that team, Chris Buescher has won all their races so far. So it's safe to say that he's been the most dominant race car driver for that team since Brad Keselowski has become part owner. But they run well here. So that's another thing, if it's not Chris Buescher, maybe look at Brad Keselowski. The RFK runs very well here at Richmond, and look forward for them to continue that here at Easter weekend. That's all I have for you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in and listening to me. I know a lot of people out there don't really like NASCAR, but for the goes who do, thank y'all for tuning in. And let's get a great night race here on Easter Sunday and have a good time and watch the race with family and kids and just have a great time. Like I said, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll ride the pine and see y'all next week.